Claims to have the answers. If you're so unhappy and so depressed in your life, somebody tells you that they have the answers, they know who's at fault for why you are the way you are.
They don't.
Run from them.
They don't.
Run from them recklessly with your arms flailing.
Everybody wants to be something they're not and have shit they ain't got. Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. Just be nice. You don't have to be that guy. Show some respect. Just be a person. Love one another.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Brain Snacks.
With Jaxon and Max.
With Jaxon and Max. I felt like that. I'll channel David Lee Roth.
That was good.
No, it wasn't.
You gonna do a
It was there.
split?
Yeah.
That was not a split.
I was doing a herky under the table. You can't see my legs, but I did the herky. My wife taught me what a herky is. She was a cheerleader. That's like a thing.
No,
they do.
really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like you jump in the air. Yeah, she got a scholarship for cheerleading.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my wife, not only is she amazingly talented, smart, and sexy, she was a cheerleader. I know. Eat your heart out, world. I'm the luckiest man alive. Suck it. Today, we have talked about several issues and topics today. This may be our last taping of this session, but one more thing that I read about and came across that I found intriguing to a new level. And it was, what was his name? Mattias Desmet. And let me spell that out so you guys can look him up too. I'll make a note to add this in the show notes. You want to put a marker there for me so I can make sure I do that. Professor Mattias Desmet, who is a doctor of psychology. And he had a theory about why there's so much division and infighting in countries and even to a degree communities with regarding the COVID. Now, I'm not applying that his opinions or hypothesis strictly to COVID. He even talked about it being a broader phenomenon.
Don't talk about.
Oh,
Look, hey, look down at your shirt.
don't.
Just
What's that say right there?
just remind yourself. Look down at your shirt.
Well, no, I'm not spreading medical information,
Hey, man.
misinformation. I'm saying this is a psychological hypothesis. Has nothing to do with the vaccine. Has nothing to do with the virus. So suck it. There's your there it is. Hey, my camera.
I know. I was just like, I was backing you up, dude.
Mine. But his hypothesis is mass formation, which is basically a form of mass hypnosis to a degree. Now, his mass formation hypothesis, in a way that I took it, and I will paraphrase, and again, I will link in the show notes for anybody that actually wants to dive deeper into Mattias Desmet's actual legit, extremely professional hypothesis. That I will.
You're not gonna
butcher it
here.
We're gonna butcher it. Watch me carve up this motherfucker's
Hey,
work.
we're professionals, brother.
It's his theory on mass formation is that there's been in society as a whole around the globe, not just in the United States, because he's not a United States citizen. He lives in another country. I think it was India, I believe. That explains his Mattias Desmet. But there's society as a whole, especially the Zoomers. Okay, Zoomer.
Stop
and the millennials, even the elder millennials, but outside of the baby boom generation, and even partially the Gen Xers, but the millennial generation and the Gen Zers, and then the current up and coming generation that haven't quite made it to adulthood yet. We have been conditioned to want things that are either unattainable or we are taken to a point where we will never be truly satisfied with what we have.
Yeah.
And that mentality creates anxiety. And that anxiety, you can't really point it or put it in a category. He describes it as free-floating anxiety. So you have these people that are dissatisfied with their jobs, they're dissatisfied with their school, they're dissatisfied with their relationships, they're dissatisfied with their social media standing. You know, any aspect of their life, they've never completely satisfied, and they're always looking for the bigger, better thing. So they have this pent-up anxiety. They're looking for something. They're always searching for something. They're never content. They're never satisfied. And this doesn't apply to everyone. In his hypothesis, he said it's going to be between 30 and 45% of the population.
I'm in that percent.
Well,
no, no, I'm saying,
but of that group, 30 to 45% of that population have this extreme case of free-floating anxiety.
Yeah.
And
I'm allowing myself to say that I directly experienced that free-floating anxiety.
Oh yeah.
But see, I become aware of it.
Yes.
Therefore, it's just a thing.
Yeah, it's more difficult to manipulate somebody that has free-floating anxiety if they understand that they have it and they're trying to at least channel it into maybe a more positive direction. But his hypothesis is that people that have this free-floating anxiety, they have nowhere to direct their angst, their energy, they're dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction? Is that a
dissatisfaction?
Dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction? Whatever. Thank you for correcting me on that.
No,
I like
fine.
to make up words here on Brain Snacks. Suck it.
Zoomer.
Okay, Zoomer. Zoomer with the dictionary.
He wants so much credit for that, man.
I heard it somewhere, and I'm not going to say where because you don't want me talking about that podcast on this podcast anymore because I talk about that podcast too much.
Let me guess. Is that No Agenda?
Yep. Boom.
Okay.
And coincidentally, they're boomers. So it's funny.
It's okay. I listen to one or two podcasts.
But this Mattias Desmet said that his hypothesis sums it up as you have these extremely vocal, radical idealists that want to affect change, and they are strong in their principles. They have either negated their free-floating anxiety, or they have channeled it to a point where it's no longer free. They have locked it down, and they now have a target. So you can apply that to any movement ever, because you go back to the 70s, the hippie movement. Make love, not war. Let's get high. Again, hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Maybe I could do without the patchouli from the from the 70s. Maybe wash and use some deodorant. It's cool. Look, I don't need to smell your ass all day.
Take a bath.
Just saying. But you're talking about a generation of disenfranchised or people that felt like they were disenfranchised and unheard, underappreciated, and they created this movement. And that movement took all these people that had these feelings.
Called Jeff Bezos.
Amazon?
Dude, that was probably my free flow.
Talk about a cock rocket. You're going to talk about Jeff Bezos.
That's probably my
with the dick ship
anxiety.
Oh man, I can't believe that they put that on television. It's a giant dildo that they launched into space.
Okay. All right.
And then and then there was Jeff Bezos' rocket.
Yeah, let's.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, his dick rocket where he the sky.
No, I called Jeff Bezos a dildo.
Okay, he is a dildo.
And that his rocket was also a dildo.
Okay. That's That's another like form of feeding some kind of free floating anxiety, because you're like, holy shit, I really will never be able to do that. Because none of us will probably ever do that. No. Why would we want to? Dude, go ahead, dude.
Well, this mass formation is taking this group of people with this free floating anxiety, and you unite them under a common cause. So you're channeling their anxiety into something that you've convinced them is outrageous and in a horribly wrong way. So you unite these people and they're basically being weaponized and pointed at whatever this group, again, whether it's the hippie generation, post-hippie generation, which would be, I mean, the hippies never really left, did they? Come on. No. But you also, I mean, you could actually strike that. We can go back even further. Go back to 1920s Germany, post World War I, a nation that's been crushed after World War I. Now, keep in mind, the majority of people in that country, had nothing to do with war. You're talking about politicians and leaders that instigated it, and then through patriotism, convinced their people that they had to fight. Whether you justify it any way you want, the average person may not have known what was going on or what they were doing was even wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was okay. So they get their ass handed to them after World War I. Economy's in the all the other countries are picking on them, making fun of them for being pussies now. And then you have the National Socialist Party of Germany come up and
satisfy all that.
You know what? Your government hasn't done enough to take care of you. You deserve so much more out of life. And what's hilariously tragic about socialism and the National Socialist Party, Nazis, for those of you that may not be following, the National Socialist Party, because most people don't call Nazis what they actually were, which is the National Socialist Party. That their messaging and propaganda, I mean, do not negate their propaganda. The way that they manipulated the masses was so beautifully done that they convinced an entire disenfranchised, unhappy, dissatisfied nation that it was primarily one race's fault why they didn't have what they wanted.
Oh, man.
Now, that is another level of mass formation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that happens now or is currently happening or has happened outside of Nazism. I believe it has, but I'm not a historian.
But it may be regrouped in less extreme cases,
yes. But when you have that level of dissatisfaction, you've seen your country fall to shit, and you have no economy really to speak of. You have no way to really defend yourself as a nation anymore because you aren't allowed after the treaties after World War I. You're not allowed to have an army. You can't have a military. So you have all these disenfranchised, unhappy people that are totally not happy with their government now, which is the government that the UN or the Allied powers help put in place. So it's their fault. They've got to go. Nazi party rises to power. They start doing stupid shit. They start f***ing it up because they took all that free-floating anxiety from an entire nation and they weaponized it, and they gave the people at large a target. And that target started with the Jews, but it went worldwide.
Yeah.
And again, super not cool.
And how do we not combat that, but how do we fix that?
Well, this hypothesis from Mattias was it's again 30 to 40% of the people that are under this mass formation actually believe in whatever that mass formation is being pointed at. So whether it's the liberals that are being stupid about whatever topic, we got to close the borders. Absolutely, nobody coming in. So you have that variation, and you have, well, all police are bad.
Yeah.
You have that variation. Then you have, well, all white people are racist. You have that formation. there's so many avenues that you can take with it. And all it takes is one slightly loud, charismatic person to go, I know what the problem is. I know why we all are suffering. I know why we have this problem. I know why we're the victims, and I know who to blame.
And then you get seduced into thinking that shit.
It is seductive.
Yeah, because you're like...
It is incredibly seductive.
You want to blame somebody or something so that you can go out there and do something about it.
Also, that you can look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
We've covered this again in Stuck in Life series. You have to be able to get past that mass formation, to make sure that you're not in that mass formation. You have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror, or introspectively, if you don't want to look at yourself in the mirror. I mean, I'm not that good looking, so I don't look in the mirror that often. I know it's obvious.
Shut up, man. You're hot.
It's so hot. It's so hot.
Dustin said you were.
I know.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry. Dusty.
Oh my god.
That's his pet name, right?
Max, you have a piece of glitter underneath your nose.
I know, it's killing me. Cam killed the glitter gun.
Free-floating anxiety. Free-floating anxiety.
It started sparkling a little bit in the.
You see my shoes? Is that coming down up on camera?
That phenomenon happens every time I go to a picnic show.
That's not a phenomenon. That's my singer liking to be a dick.
In your life, it's probably not, because you do it every day or every weekend.
Yeah, it is. I am over the glitter. I swear the reason I don't have my contacts in is because there's something in my eye.
If it's a piece of glitter,
I can't get it out, but I'm pretty sure it's a piece of glitter. And that's not free-floating anxiety. I have that firmly pointed at Cameron Fleener.
Oh God.
Look, I still show up to gigs, so whatever.
Yeah, look out.
But this free-floating anxiety, 30 to 45% of the populace are going to subscribe to this, again, directed anxiety.
Right.
And they will do it with fervor and 100% buy into that. And there's no talking them out of it. There's no disagreeing. There's no debating. There's no logical conversation to be had, which we've discussed, trying to have logical conversations with people that are immobile. And then additionally, after that, you have another 25 to 35-ish. And again, this is a free-floating number, because we're going to talk free-floating a lot in this little piece. The next section, 25 to 35% of the overall mass of people, is going to be people that don't necessarily buy the narrative or don't want to be used as a weapon, but don't want to really go against that.
Yeah.
So they're going to be silent. Yeah. They're silently complicit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying complicit sounds like a loaded term. Because being complicit is I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. And complicity is being okay with something and not actively supporting it, but definitely not going, no, wait, maybe we shouldn't defund the police completely.
Yeah.
That's like saying defund the teachers because they can't teach, grade scores going down.
Yeah.
Let's pay them even less. Yeah. That'll attract the best people to do the job.
Right.
Right. And that's capitalism 101. Again, there are flaws in every society. In a capitalistic society, if you want innovation, you want the best, you're going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. That's just how it goes. And it's worked out pretty well for this nation, being, number one world superpower. Again, right now we're still barely number one. I think we're still winning, but
yeah.
But that's another bias.
Where do you can you ride the razor's edge of being non-complicit but also not angry? Because when you get angry and you also tap into your own free-floating anxiety to combat the free-floating anxiety, then you kind of become possessed a little bit.
Yes.
So how can you fight without being so just
targeted,
pissed off about it? You know what I mean? Being
worked up.
We have to fight differently. Well, because of the level that it stems from. You kind of have to fight it at that level, and and it's not an involved fight. It's maybe it's more introspective.
Well, it is a battle. It is a battle within, and it goes back to, again, knowing who you are, identifying, or at least trying to know who you are, and being honest enough with yourself, and being honest enough with your biases to go, okay, like what he's saying sounds really good, but what I'm seeing isn't matching what he's saying. So maybe, again, it's learning to analyze what you're seeing not matching up with what you're hearing. So like you can hear the greatest message on the planet. And I will give socialism as another great example. I did a little bit more research, and I do want to have a camera on you and do a roundtable in the future about socialism, because when I was looking up quotes for the Brain Snacks Facebook page, so I could just, again, I'm trying to crank out content and stuff that like I think that we all agree on. I'm just like, yeah, but they're overwhelmingly positive messages.
Yeah.
And I think we can all get on board with, positive messaging for people. And I was just like, always, I was thinking about the conspiracy theories that we were talking about doing series on. I was like, I've said this in a couple episodes. Like my mindset is I always look for who has the most to gain out of a certain situation,
which is a very, very logical way to look at everything, pretty much.
Yes, it is. And
macro, micro, it doesn't matter.
It is frightening to think about. I believe I talked to you about this when we were on the phone talking this, but I didn't tell you about this. I was, Dustin, when I was researching for that, I was looking for a quote that had that in it. Cause I was like, I know I didn't come up with that. Like, look who has the most to gain from any certain situation, and you'll find the root cause of why going the way it is.
Right.
Whether up or down, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it was V.I. Lenin, Russian
Marxist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the father.
Yeah.
Well, one of the fathers. There's several. Karl Marx, obviously. But socialism leading to communism. And I told Jaxon when I was reading, I clicked on the meme, not the meme, but there was like a little quote box. I clicked on it, I was reading it, I was like, wow, okay. So I did some more research on V.I. Lenin.
Vladimir
Ilyich Ulyanov. But I looked him up some more. I read a couple of his essays, and I told Jaxon, I was like, what's fucked up is I think I'm a socialist.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, and here's the problem with socialism in general is it implies that it's going to be a utopian society. I'm not going to go any further into this because I would love to keep this for another conversation in the future. But the reason that people can get behind socialism is because they're dissatisfied, they're anxious, they're unhappy, they're just, again, completely just overall dissatisfied, not just in their own lives, but they're dissatisfied with their job, they're dissatisfied with their relationship, they're dissatisfied with their family life, they're dissatisfied with their government,
yes,
politicians, and they need to point the finger at something. So how do you do that? Well, you start at the top. If you can focus it all at the government.
If you're pointing outside.
Yes. And this is the key tool to the mass formation is that people aren't looking inward.
They point out. How far do you go out before you look in?
It's a victimhood mentality.
Right. Like how far do you go out before you realize that we are what actually makes all this shit up, man?
Yes. What's so seductive about the entire concept, and why, again, I could get behind socialism if it could go off like that, but they don't. What V.I. Lenin and Karl Marx and all these other people don't factor in, and I'm going to argue a lot of progressives, Bernie Sanders, AOC and all these other people, and this isn't a political post, this isn't a political podcast, this is my opinion on how people think, and they don't think enough about something, is anybody that claims to be a socialist is leaving out one key element, the human factor.
Yeah. People,
by nature, are greedy little assholes.
Yeah.
We all are. It's human nature, because if the more I have, the better, the more likely I am to survive.
You enhance
Yes.
You want to keep enhancing the outside.
Now, that's not to say.
What really intrigues me about socialism is it could be an upgraded version of capitalism if it was done right. But the human factor is the problem there.
Again, well,
there's a lot of logistics. And it's one step at a time, though, if it were to be.
Well, in order to have anything done in a timely fashion, you would have to eliminate a large majority of our electoral system. And it would have to go down to like a very small group of people. And when you have a small group of people that are in that kind of position of power,
there you go.
Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Say it with me, class. Absolutely. And not that I'm educating you kids.
No, that's what
I'm
you're
saying at home. And that's, again, something to marinate on if you're thinking about socialism.
Yeah.
And also keep reading into V.I. Lenin, because he was also, he was very, very good writer. And he had some great ideas and concepts. And like, again, I told Jackson, I was like, I think I'm a socialist. This is crazy. Like, oh, I'm an independent. I'm unaffiliated. I was like, I can be swayed, but if it sounds too good to be true.
Well, the thing about it is that like there are great concepts, and maybe a potential Frankenstein of concepts could be better.
But maybe America's already a melting pot.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
But maybe, just maybe, reality isn't a concept. You know what I mean? Yes. Maybe there's another way. You know, like that's kind of like my thing. But then you get into like dissolving nations and having smaller groups and organizations, and you know, that's radical.
Yeah.
But like maybe there's other radical things like inside
concepts and ideas.
Inside things are radical,
like Facebook being meta.
Yeah, I don't even know how. I don't know. I saw a little bit. I don't know about all that.
It's just Mark Zuckerberg like cashing in early on complete VR.
What was this episode about?
VR reality, mass formation.
Mass formation, yeah.
Which again, if you're so dissatisfied with your
it means
real,
it's good because I got really into it
with your real life. If you're so dissatisfied with your real life, what better way to escape than
get in your meta life
to plug in?
Yeah.
I mean, why? Like this is. You can call this is all in the same vein of mass formation, though. If you're so dissatisfied with your life, and this is not this is a touchy topic, and I don't want to offend anybody. This is not meant to be be offensive in any way, shape, or form. If it's taken that way, I'm sorry that your feelings got hurt. But this is just a point I'm making because I see a trajectory, and I'm not saying this is necessarily going to happen, but this is what makes sense to me is transhumanism, and not in a sexual way, not in a physical way. Transhumanism is transcending humanity. Now, how do we transcend humanity? Well, through technology. And they've been talking about this for years already.
The Neuralink stuff.
That's not just Neuralink though. That's also Meta.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like it's like
it's an altered state of humanity. It's an altered state, and then they're claiming it's like an altered state of consciousness. So it's like they're going full Buddha Zen. Like,
no, they're not.
Well, no, but that's what they're branding it as.
Yeah,
is this is Oasis. This is where you find your utopian society is in the meta,
which is a complete
and that's what I think. But I think that what we're on now is that we are, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings by saying this. And if I do offend you, feel free to write me. We'll have you on the podcast. We can have a conversation. I'm not, again, peace, love. We love you all, unless you're going to be a dick. If you're going to be a dick, then what's the point of having a conversation with you if all you want to do is argue? My thought is the trans movement has been so big now because I think that it's a stepping stone, because you weren't good enough being born male or female. So now you have to transcend or transfer over to another sex. And again, if that's who you are, no problem with that. Much love. Same thing. Again, going to the next level. We talked about it off camera. To the non-binary. Well, I don't identify as either. Okay, that's fine. Again, why should anybody else care about your personal life choices? If you appear to be a man, I made that mistake to legit men and women. Sup? Hey, thank you, bruh. My name's Carla.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, I don't do it. I don't mean to be offensive. And that's part of my upbringing and part of my bias is I was raised in the South to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, regardless of age now. It's like I'm 37. To try to think that I'm going to cull that ingrained politeness of saying, like, showing respect, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yeah. Like, that's a hard habit to break, you know? Yeah. And again, no offense to anybody. I'm not poo-pooing anybody that's gay, lesbian, trans, whatever. I'm saying that it's
just a maybe. It's just a maybe.
Yes. I think that's the trajectory. Yeah. And that all leads back into mass formation because we're all there's so many out there that are unhappy with their life. Again, job, livelihood, relationships. You have enough bad relationships as a female, other females start looking pretty good. You have enough bad relationships as a male, female relationship, dudes start looking pretty good. Like, I can hunt, I can fish. This is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
You're pretty handsome, man.
That's
Now, I'm not saying that's how people are born. I'm not saying some people are born this way, some people aren't. Some people develop it over time, and I'm not saying any of this is bad. You do you. Do what's best for you. We love you anyway.
Maybe there's a depth to who we are beyond all of that, anyways. That isn't spoken about enough.
No,
because it doesn't work. Mm. When I say it doesn't work, I mean it doesn't work in terms of me being able to tell you something that you don't already know somehow. Basically,
like instinctually.
Yeah, not like instinctually as in a dumb and basic way, like a layman way. I'm saying just knowing, awakening to an extent, to maybe a depth about us that we are already. Mm-hmm. That's way more interesting than exploring outside ourselves to try to enhance ourselves.
Yeah.
But maybe it just doesn't work, and that's why it's not talked about enough, because it doesn't work for power structures. It doesn't work for control. It doesn't work because it's a complete denial of all that, because it acknowledges the one thing that we don't acknowledge enough, which is we don't know where our decisions come from.
Yeah.
We don't know how things really are the way they are. I mean, like I guess it kind of naturally brings about gratitude for just being here.
Yeah.
And just a general, it's not like it's not something that anybody can take hold of. Like, I couldn't take hold of that dimension in you, just as you couldn't take hold of it in me.
Yeah.
But it empowers us, and it connects us, and it connects everyone. Like, regardless of where you're at, when you say the idea of being here isn't necessarily a geographical thing.
Yeah.
It's just you're here. Like
once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, like holy shit, Mm-hmm. Like, and I guess for most people, including myself, it's like it's a kind of hide and seek thing where that at times.
Yeah.
And then you don't.
Yeah.
And that at times and then you don't. Mm. But like,
or you're under the illusion that you know what's going on when you don't.
No, I know.
That happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
Again, I think I know what I'm talking about in this podcast.
But we're just kind of forming sentences and just thought structures that are happening.
We're having a conversation and exploring ideas and topics.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is we're taught that we live in one state. We live in one state, which is just the waking. Just
Alabama?
Give me. Look, but like that we live in one state and we're just these containers that just get filled up with everything throughout the day, and there's just and it just never ends. It's one damn thing after another.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But there's ways to achieve altered states without necessarily doing drugs or doing anything really. Just I mean,
just thinking, just marinating.
I'm not even really thinking. Just work. There's work that can be done that it puts you in a real position of being in your own captain seat versus, looking and searching and trying to fit and all this, like
I got you.
It's kind of a denial of the hive mind. It's kind of a denial of yourself as a concept.
Yeah.
The concept of yourself, and more like, all like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just that's like
okay.
That's something that we just don't talk about enough. Even and even
there's a difference.
They try to like churches, you know.
To clarify for anybody that's listening, because we talked about it in several episodes previously. It's collective consciousness.
Right.
Okay.
Dude, I keep going back to that, don't I? It's weird. It's almost like it's real.
Again, how can one person, you know, two people across the globe have the same idea at the same time? Like, it happens a lot more often than we probably understand it does. The exact same idea, exact same time, and they go patent at the same time. And it, like, again, discoveries are made, simultaneous discoveries, the exact same identical discoveries made all across the globe.
You said something there. You said something. It's discovery. It's not something that I put there or that you put there.
Well, I think it's all just, it's out there, and that we don't know how to channel that knowledge, and it just happens accidentally, serendipitously. I had to reiterate that because that word is really hard to say.
It's a discovery you can make.
Yes,
basically, and it can be done. I mean, basically, I
would love to learn how to tap into that collective consciousness on the, like, when I like channel it.
Yeah,
like Thor's hammer.
Yeah,
smash it.
Yeah. Oh, well, Alan Watts actually said one of the things he said. We'll go back to Alan. Is basically
he's great.
When we're trying to control everything, we have no control.
Mm-hmm.
But when we realize that we don't, we have it.
Release the control.
Yeah. Once you realize that you don't have control and you just trust,
mm-hmm.
then you have some sort of clarity, distance,
mm-hmm.
some sort of control. You can do what we talked about and short circuit yourself whenever you see a pattern, because ultimately you're like if I hold resentment towards you,
mm-hmm.
or if I have a unconscious bias, or if I have any of these inner workings are invisible to anybody in this room. Just like anybody, like I have no idea what inner workings are going on in everybody.
Yeah,
we have unique past, unique futures to explore,
mm-hmm.
and so like, why not look more into that in an altruistic way? And I would say we don't, because it doesn't prove to be fruitful in any kind of
physical reality,
physical form, yeah. Money. It doesn't produce anything. We don't know what we could possibly be doing. You know what I mean? We don't know real possibilities that are out there that we just simply don't explore them enough.
Well, and not tying into,
we commit suicide on Monday mornings as a species more than any time.
I believe it.
But to think that it's a Monday, you know, it's a day of your life, brother. It's a day.
Well,
today is called Sunday.
Well, a lot of people just feel trapped.
I know, and what I'm saying is, like, one of the craziest things ever is like people saying I can't find myself.
Mm. Well, good luck with that.
You are yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, where are you looking?
Yeah.
Where the f- are you looking for yourself at?
If you're looking for yourself on the outside,
are you looking for it in your paycheck?
Yeah.
Are you looking for it in your enhancements? You know, like, because you're not going to find it. I mean, if you can perceive it, it's not you, and it belongs to time.
Yeah.
And it will die. I mean, everything that we perceive is a phenomenal thing that belongs to time, and it's going to come, and it's going to go. And I mean, just enjoy it, you know?
Fleeting and fluid.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we just don't enjoy shit enough and slow down enough to like really appreciate it. And that sounds like a super old school thing to say, but maybe we should be listening to the older.
It's a wonderful way to manipulate a society is to convince them that you have a finite amount of time in your life to work your ass off before you can actually enjoy your life.
Go to heaven.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about like heaven. I'm talking like in world, like the way that we view the world in a time fashion.
Your
like your lifetime.
Your fulfillment's going to come later.
Yes. You work and sacrifice now so you can enjoy the twilight of your years.
Yeah.
And that
you retire.
Yeah. And we're all convinced, and this very much is mass formation. We are all convinced that we have to go to college and have a degree. Doesn't matter what they never specified, by the way. They just said you have to go to college. So you go to college, you get a degree to do something that you want to do. Well, most of the time that people that go to college aren't going to college to do something that they want to do. They go to college to get a degree in something that can make them the most amount of money.
Get them the most squeeze.
And you talked briefly about the golden handcuffs. As like you work so hard and you put in all this time and energy and you amass this giant, enormous amount of wealth.
And those same patterns, patterns.
Miserable.
The same patterns are going to be there in your mansion.
Yep.
The same patterns.
And you're still going to be dissatisfied.
Yeah. And I mean, and you see a mansion, you see a Maserati, and you're like, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing that was produced.
You know what's beautiful and magical?
Great. You know?
That 1994 Chevy Astro outside, you should buy.
Hell yeah.
Sales pitch number 2 for you to buy my Astro van. I figure Dustin sold his, so I can sell mine. So, I figure if he can sell that busted piece of shit.
Damn.
3,000.
Dude.
Yeah.
What do you sell everything with it?
Hmm?
Oh, dude, that's a steal.
Yeah.
That was a steal. You had solar panels and inverters and that $3,000 was a good deal on that. So no, I'm not, you know what? I take back that wasn't a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But as far as the mass formation goes, and like the way and what you were talking about has a lot to do with that. It does,
because
we're all
the only things we
convinced.
Know about ourselves are things that other people have told us about ourselves.
Yes. You've been convinced. You've been convinced to try this, and this to be fulfilled and happy. But it's all a lie. It's all an illusion.
Yeah.
So you have this, 30 to 45% of people that are focused in and locked in and sold on this one idea. And it's like pretty hardcore idea. And they would now want to force that idea on the rest of the populace.
Mm-hmm.
They're locked in, can't change their mind. Do you present them with the Lord our God could come down in person and say, look, no, you guys are way off base. And they'd be like, fake news. Yeah, that kind of dedication to their belief in whatever that free-floating anxiety is channeled into now.
Mm.
So they're now, they effectively, for lack of a better term, brainwashed, or maybe a better term, hypnotized into lockstep. This is the plan. We're handling this exactly this way. There's no deviation, regardless of what you have to say or what facts of proof you have.
Which is ridiculous.
And then you have,
I
was just talking about 25 to 35%. The next group, they're just complicit. They're like, you know what? I can take it or leave it, but I'm definitely not going to rock that boat because these people are fucking crazy. And I might even post I might even make my profile picture black for a week. But it'll be I'll click the make temporary profile picture.
Yeah.
And it's, look, there are some people that'll take offense to that. Look, be honest with yourself. If you really cared, maybe you would do more than just change your profile picture and claim to be a social justice warrior that way.
And it's not just you.
You want to affect real change?
Look at these businesses. Look at everything.
You want to affect real change in the world? Start running for public office and be a better person and not a better politician.
You won't win.
No. Certainly not if you run on a platform of actually trying to legitimately help people.
Yeah, don't do that.
No.
It won't work.
So then you had, that's the second group, the complicit group.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'm not going to say you're as guilty or as bad. I'm not saying anybody's guilty. I'm just saying this is how the psychology of society is, according to Mattias. And I see the logic, and it makes a lot of sense to me in this way.
Oh, it absolutely does.
And then the remainder, again, could be from 25 to 35%, depending, again, all the percentages fluctuate. That remainder of people in this last category are the people that don't buy into all this. That they may still have the free-floating anxiety like you were talking about, but they've looked inside and they've looked at, again, here's the cause and effect. And, here's the solution that's being offered. And they see that solution. They're just like, well, that solution doesn't solve the problem.
What's outside of myself? It's not, it's not going to do it.
But they're going to be the vocal ones that are going to actively deny, like the hardcore, 35 to 45% that are like diehard, can't change my mind. Well, the last ones are a little bit more open-minded, but they can be, again, still very closed-minded.
Yeah.
And they're just going to keep deny. And then you have the separation. But without this last group, if this last group goes away, then you have what equates to a totalitarian society, which means that this group over here, which may not even be the majority because you have this group over here that's complicit, that just won't say anything, that won't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this group over here that's now running the world or the country or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever agenda they're trying to push, they're going to get no pushback on without this last 25 to 35% of naysayers. Because the complicit group, they just don't care.
Yeah.
But they don't want to piss off this group because this group's active and angry. Then the other group, the dissenting group, they may be active and angry and maybe violent. I don't know. It all depends on the situation. But without that last group,
maybe those people need to
without that last group, that first group goes completely unchecked. Right. And then you have scenarios like the Nazi Socialist movement, the National Socialist Party. And then same thing with Russia, same thing with Italy. I mean, this has gone through, and this isn't just about socialism. This is also about movements. Like you have the anti-fascist movement, Antifa, and this isn't political. Again, I can see valid arguments in calling a movement anti-fascist.
Yeah,
I'm all about it. But when you're employing Gestapo-like tactics and basically what equates to guerrilla warfare, and you're advocating for widespread, like there's one thing to call for widespread civil disobedience. There's another thing to call for active aggression and violence towards people.
I'm all about civil disobedience.
Again, I'm all about some civil disobedience. If
small scale, big scale.
Again, the same thing with the defund the police movement, and again to an extent, Black Lives Matter organization. And this has nothing to do with race. This has to do with control. I don't know how much the Black Lives Matter movement or Antifa has really done to help Black lives.
Yeah.
Like outside of creating a greater awareness for some issues, like police brutality is a thing. If it may or may not disproportionately occur to Black people. I'm not saying it does or doesn't. I have seen data on both sides that say yes and no.
Yeah.
There are contributing factors.
I mean,
there are contributing factors to police being more around the Black community. And I'm not saying this is negative or positive. I'm saying this is a reality.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that's what the situation
Black
is.
and white.
Yes.
Duality.
It should not happen. One other thing, non-binary. We should go non-binary. Go in the gray.
There's an unconscious assumption to be made, was made, that I'm on this side, I'm the white. Black is on that side, they're in the black. One of our side, the black side must lose, the white side must win. Same way all the way around.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a realm where that isn't even a factor?
This is,
you know what I mean? There is. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that's like that. Like if you can like entertain that perspective that it's a game it's turned tragically cruel, cosmically tragically cruel.
Yeah.
That it could have, maybe it's evolutionary that we've now embraced differences, at least on the surface. I mean, obviously, that goes back to
the side of progressivism that I can get behind.
Yeah,
but progressivism going completely unchecked.
Yeah,
is again there's where duality works, and like this goes to non-binary being not all black, not all white. Like we have to go gray.
Yeah,
we have to go gray, and if you don't go gray, then you end up with extremists on both sides.
Yeah.
And then what does that extremism lead to? Violence against one side or the other. And it stems from people feeling underrepresented. It comes from people being feeling like they're taken advantage of or forgotten or left behind or taken advantage of. And there are legitimate cases to be made for the people making those arguments in Antifa, in Black Lives Matter, in the defund the police movement, in the anti-vaccine movement. There are considerations that should be taken into account when making a decision to support, again, to go group one, die hard, all in, can't change my mind. These people need my help, and no matter what, and I'm going to burn this city to the ground. That attitude, you have that, and then you have the complicit attitude, which is like, well, look, George Floyd got murdered. Yeah, we got to burn down Seattle.
Yeah.
Repeatedly. The logic, like, violence does not beget violence.
Well,
violence begets violence. There's no peace that comes from that.
Right.
And you can beat somebody into submission, but all you're doing is creating more and more and more of a problem further down the line. You can't just keep kicking the can down the road. Eventually, that can's going to fall apart.
Yeah. You can't. We just can't keep looking for solutions that are outside of ourselves. That's just like the main thing. I mean, that's where you lose peace, because
it's just understanding that we are not, like, nobody. I don't care what color, what gender, what sex. We are not victims.
No.
Don't allow yourself to be a victim.
And when you're complicit, you're implying that you're not. And
don't let anybody tell you.
When you're complicit, you're implying that you're not here and you're not even a part of it, because you are.
Yeah.
You are a part of it.
You can't have people tell you that you're a victim. And that's what's being told to us all the time. A different socioeconomic example of being told you're a victim, it would be Andrew. Going back to your college experience,
he is fucking harping on this shit, man.
Well, Dustin didn't go to college. Dustin is in college. I didn't go to college. My wife went to college. How's this? Chrissy is an example. I'll leave you alone, man. Fine.
I don't care.
Chrissy,
I went to college.
Chrissy had.
I want to get that reference.
Chrissy had student loans out the ass. She has 2 degrees. Okay, counting, and in theater. She has theater. Yeah, my wife. I keep talking. You can't say anything bad about my wife.
All the world.
Still don't see what she sees in me, but I'm gonna take it every time. But so she amassed this ridiculous amount of student loan debt. Much like, I don't know how many people have actually gone to college, like full 4-year college, and they graduate, they have like $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 in student loan debt.
Yeah.
Now, there's a reason for that, which we can get into in another conspiracy episode, because I have a lot to say about the educational system. But you have been told now by, and again, this has a lot to do with some of it being politics, but it's easy to manipulate a society that's disenfranchised, because you went to college for 4 years and you amassed $100,000 in debt, and you graduate college, and your entry-level position with a college degree, which is mandatory to get this position, your entry-level position is $35,000 a year. Now, there's no guarantee that you're going to move up that ladder, because let's say that you're not a good employee, but you still have $100,000 in student loan debt. It'll take you another 50 years to pay that off. So, would you be extremely happy about that or excited about that? No.
Yeah.
Now, you could change your major, you could work harder, you could do better.
Yeah, work hard, man.
You could solve that problem. You have the power to take care of that problem. But why do that when you have somebody, and again, no offense if you support him, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he has good ideas. I just think that maybe he doesn't know how to count. We need to get the motherfucking abacus, because he's probably as old as those are. Bernie Sanders, again, great ideas. The government got into backing student loans. So government backs up student loans. They will guarantee the money. Any kid that wants to go to college, you're still going to have to pay it back, but it's backed by the federal government. That's fantastic. Until you realize how crooked the education system is. So the education system, tuition costs has rised upwards upwards of like 250% in the last 30 years. Easily, if not more than that. And that's just for like regular state colleges.
Yeah.
All right. Now, why would they do that? And why would they make you amass all this money to go get a job that's not going to pay you? Oh, it's because they can, because the government's now supplying it.
Yeah.
Now, that's an example of socialism and how socialism doesn't work. Socialism with capitalism, right there. That's the government saying, oh, don't worry, you want to go to college? We're going to make sure you get the best education possible, and you're going to do great things with your life. Whether that, let's say that was completely altruistic and they wanted to do a good job. Well, then there's nobody holding the colleges accountable. The colleges are just going, free money? Oh,
yeah, we can take as much as we want.
So they just, every year they just ratchet up. Well, we need a new stadium. Boop. We need a new gymnasium. Boop. We need a new library wing. Boop. They just keep tick, 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 tick. So, when the boomers, this is where the divide between, the different generations come into play. The boomers, they went to college, $20,000 for your degree.
Right.
And they also bought a house 2 years out of college, cars, whatever. And then you have Gen X, almost the same, but they were probably paying $50,000-$60,000.
Right.
And now you have the millennials and the Gen Zers that are upwards of, 6 figures in 4 years. And they may not make that money back. And you have a lot of them, again, that are disenfranchised, and they're going living back with their parents when they graduate college because they either can't find a job or they're unwilling to take an entry-level job and put in the effort to move up.
Yeah.
Because they've been told, we've been told.
Well, they've been told that if you do these things and you don't fuck it up, then there's a future for you.
But
regardless,
they've also been told that they're special.
That's what I'm saying.
Extremely
extremely
special. And
there's nothing special about one individual.
I think
I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just saying.
There's nothing. Every individual has special in their own way, but that does not mean that you are greater than or less than anybody else.
That's what I'm saying.
If you want to succeed,
doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. Doesn't matter.
If you want to succeed, you still have to put in the effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks to take that entry level position, but you know what? Here's my example of what is supposed to be like to work. I showed up to Journey's shoes, fresh out of getting fired from Hot Topic.
Walk down to Journey's.
I literally walked one store over. I'm like, hey man, yeah.
I just got fired.
Well, this manager looked at me. He said, "Why'd you get fired?" I said, "My band fired me. I got drunk. I showed up 5 minutes late to open the store. I was 100% completely open and honest. Didn't gaslight him. Didn't fake him out. Didn't say they hate me.
Yeah,
they did. But I was third key. They made me do all the inventory and then bitched that my sales were low. So it's like, do you want me to unpack or you want me to sell something to customers? That's another argument for another day. But I went over there to Journey's the day I got fired on my lunch break because I knew they were going to fire me after my shift was over. They weren't going to fire me during.
Because they wanted to squeeze that last little bit out of the toothpaste tube.
Yes. So I went over next door. I said, hey, I'm going to need a job tomorrow. It was like, when can you start? It was like, tomorrow. What happened? Got fired for drinking. Not on the job. I just showed up. Kind of like wasted 5 minutes late. Really? He looked at me like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. I don't have any management positions open. I was like, I need a job. I don't care. So he put me in the stockroom. I started the next day. I posted on the bulletin board. I said, if you don't want your shift, here's my number.
Yeah.
I picked up 6 shifts that week. He had to cut 2 of them because I can't work more than 32 hours a week. I would have racked up 60 hours that week had he not had to. Corporate reasons. Because he couldn't make me full-time. Part-time status, hard cut off at 32 hours. That lasted for 2 weeks. I showed up and I kicked my ass. Like, I worked that stockroom. I made it my bitch. That stockroom was more organized and more clean than any other time in the history of that store. I got promoted to assistant manager 3 weeks. 3 weeks in. I got my own store. $1.2 million in yearly revenue less than a year after that. And then I take that back. It was less than 6 months after that. And then I was in Gretna, Louisiana, New Orleans, for the layperson that doesn't know Louisiana geography, which is most of the world, because why Louisiana? Why? But no, I got my own store there, and I worked in New Orleans for the better part of 11 months, working 60 hours a week, being miserable out of my mind. But I went from making, I think it was $9.25 an hour as a stock boy, working at maximum 32 hours a week. I impressed my boss enough with my work ethic and my willingness to learn and adapt and do new things, to assistant manager, where I was making $15 an hour plus commission, and to running my own store where I was making upwards of, I was on the trajectory to make $50,000 my first year with full benefits and 401k at the age of 23. That's the real talk about the American dream.
Yeah.
You put in the work. You can't just show up and think that somebody's going to give you something. You're not a victim. Nobody owes you. The world doesn't owe you. You know what the world owes you? It's about 6 feet deep. That's all the world's going to give you at the end of the day. That's all we have. We all have, there's a expiration date, and we don't know what it is. And I'm glad I don't know what it is. I don't dwell on it.
Is there an expiration date?
Well, on the physical existence.
Yeah. Everything belongs to time.
Yeah. But
there's
that is me not crying over my manager didn't understand my feelings. I got fired from my band. That was an emotionally traumatic experience.
Yeah,
I need a safe space. I'm going to go sit in the break room for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That. Get off your ass. Go do something with your life. You're responsible. We're all ultimately responsible for our own well-being and happiness.
Right. And you have a choice. Like,
and
as
nobody
to where that
claims
is.
to have the answers. If you're so unhappy and so depressed in your life, somebody tells you that they have the answers, they know who's at fault for why you are the way you are.
They don't.
Run from them.
They don't.
Run from them recklessly with your arms flailing.
Yes.
No, they don't have anything but their own personal agenda in mind.
Right.
So don't let anybody convince you that you're the victim. You have the complete power to take control of your life. You don't have to follow in line. And
partially because you have to acknowledge that there really isn't a line. I mean, there's implied lines. Your job on the road, I mean, you're really just right next to somebody.
Well, there's really nothing but forks in the road.
Yeah.
There's no straight line. There's always at least two paths.
Imagine yourself not being here, and then you realize, holy shit, I really am here. Holy man.
You're right.
Oh, now you all of a sudden have a little energy boost. Shit.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's all about how you want to approach life. And, this guy, Dr. Mattias Desmet, his hypothesis, he came to form this, hey boys, you hear the click clack in the microphones every time they walk through. It's adorable. But Mattias Desmet, he cultivated this hypothesis around the COVID-19. And what happens when you isolate people from friends, family, relatives, whatever, for an extended period of time, and then you take away the fun.
A few things could happen.
Fun. You take away their extracurricular activities.
Spaces open up. They need to be filled with something.
Anxiety. And then you give them the fear of mortality. You keep telling them that they're going to die.
Consumerism.
And again, he goes on and on. And we're going to link to the essay that I read that led me down that mass formation rabbit hole.
So you can read it for yourself.
It is. Look, I'm not buying into it 100% because I don't buy into anything I read 100%. but a lot of it rings true. And that doesn't mean that it is true, but it just means that there may be a good element of truth in it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree.
So, but when you have all those things stacking, you have all this free floating anxiety because you're feeling alone, you're feeling disenfranchised, you're feeling underappreciated, you're feeling like you don't have any job opportunities, you feel like you don't have any relationship opportunities. You create all this negativity in your life, but you have nowhere to channel it because you don't have time to do anything fun because you're working at a job you hate.
Yeah.
To pay for a house that you don't want.
But you told
to
it you
to
wanted.
pay for a car that you only got to impress the girl that doesn't want you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all these things add up.
Liberating.
And you don't
man.
think we don't think in these terms, but all these things add up in your life and how you approach life and how you think about and approach others.
Yep.
And the way that I explained mass formation to you, I think on the phone, was it's like I have a problem. Me and Andrew have like a knockdown, drag out, screaming fight. We had a huge disagreement on a topic or on the editing process of this or how this video scene was supposed to be shot. And you know what? Him, piece of shit. He pissed me off to no end. I'm so angry.
God damn
it. I love you, Andrew. But I'm so unhappy with him. But the next time, like I talk to you the next day, but that conversation's still sticking with me. And I take it out on you, or worse, I take it out on my wife, who has nothing to do with any of this. That's misdirected anxiety, anger, and resentment.
Yeah.
And that's instead of having a conversation and resolving the issue with the person that I had an issue with. Let's say it's Dustin this time, just to leave Andrew alone. You know, instead of dealing with,
what is it, man? Lay it on me.
Instead of dealing with whatever the actual issue was and confronting it head on, I now have misplaced aggression towards somebody that doesn't deserve it, but is also, that's another relationship that I might be jeopardizing because of that. That's like on a solo singular level, that is the best example of like mass formation I can give. It's misdirected angst and anxiety and disappointment and, you know, going up to hatred and anger. Because if you hold on to that anxiety long enough, you're just going to get angry.
Yeah.
And that's not, again, nobody wants to live that way. And that's why it's so easy to buy into that one point, that one thing. It's this. If I can just get rid of this one thing, then my life's going to be better. This is going to make my life better.
Maybe the thing is,
and that's a lie, because there's not one thing that's going to make anything
First
better.
of all, stop believing everything. Stop believing. Don't believe. Actually, just, you know, you exist here whether you believe you do or you don't. So we're really beyond belief here.
Well, there's a beyond belief theme song out there.
So maybe we just don't believe everything we see. We don't believe every thought that comes in our head, and just don't believe some of this. I'm not saying deny help when you need to get help.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying maybe we're hemorrhaging positive energy by believing so much in the negativity.
Well, if you fill yourself up,
you know what I mean?
If you fill yourself up with the negative energy, there's not a lot of room left for positivity.
Yeah, I mean, maybe try to empty yourself out more. Just maybe become more rooted in your own neutrality.
I'll empty myself into you.
Chrissy?
That's none of my business.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We've been pretty serious.
That was really rude and insensitive.
We've been pretty serious this whole taping, so I wanted to lighten the mood a little bit.
I did feel a little serious. It got like almost serious for me.
Well, these are things that
real,
I like having a good time. I like joking, but sometimes I just really feel that there's a need for me to empty out some of my negativity
onto me. And then I go commit suicide.
Dude, only if you take it in. Dude, you know I pull out.
Dustin, is this true?
I have no idea.
I just want to know before I pay. Chrissy's like, it's not true. Too far. Too far. Everyone always says I go too far.
And any point that we made this entire series is now negated.
Yeah, we're done.
It's like, how can you take that seriously?
Now I found out who these guys really are. They're the guys that used to draw the penises in the textbooks.
No, I was not that kid.
Me either. Sometimes they were good drawings. Sometimes they
Big
were
veiny triumphant bastard.
Yeah, I did. Oh, hold
Inside
on.
the jacket sleeve.
Why do I still have this stored? But I do remember a caucasaurus. So it was like a giant, like it went the whole page, and it said caucasaurus. That's how I knew what it was, because it said caucasaurus on
it. Please tell me it's extinct.
Not yet. I think they're still teaching citizenship.
So I was like, well, I mean, if you transitioned, maybe it maybe you had to bury that bone.
Yeah. It depends if they upgraded the textbooks.
So if it died 65 million years ago, would you say the caucasaurus is petrified?
Just hard, man. It's just
petrified bone.
It's just hard. It's tough.
Obviously, I'm not a paleontologist. So.
Hope no one has nightmares about caucasaurus.
I have wet dreams about it.
But hope doesn't get you nowhere.
Oh. So, yeah. As far as mass formation goes, yeah, it's pretty much keeping an eye. If you want to avoid being a part of the mass formation, it's as simple as watching
the podcast and just believing everything we say and just falling in line
by sending me 3
with our
low payments of $29.99.
That was a good pop,
right? No, I will send you my absolutely free ebook.
You want to know how to control everything in your life?
No, we're not going there.
Want to know how to turn this $600 into $100,000?
Give it to me,
dude. Suck my.
But no, if you can avoid the mass formation, it's confronting where that anxiety comes from, where those negative feelings come from.
Is it old anxiety?
Yeah.
I mean,
is it legit anxiety, or is it your jealousy of something that you don't have?
Yeah.
Are you comparing yourself too much to your peers?
Are you being comparative?
And are they truly your peers? Maybe they don't need to be in your circle.
Yeah, true self-esteem isn't comparative.
No.
At all.
No.
At all.
And it's,
but we're hardwired.
We're
hardwired to compare because of how we know this or that. Yeah. So.
Well, we are hardwired to see the differences in each other.
Yeah.
And that's, again, selective, evolution.
It's once again seductive to think everything's separate and not one of the same coming from the same source.
Yes.
I mean,
the same wellspring springs all
which has its effects on our discernment.
Yes.
In situations and in ourselves, because we just we're disconnected.
Yeah.
From how it really is.
But being brave enough to confront your perceived shortcomings and not laying the blame anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like if you think it's your boss's job that you didn't get that promotion, go find another job.
Right.
If you were unhappy in your relationship, go get another relationship. Or better yet,
don't get a relationship.
Or better yet, don't get a relationship.
Cultivate your relationship with yourself.
Don't blame somebody else for something that is within your quote unquote control.
Yeah. Don't look for a codependency.
We can all get past the mass formation if we are willing to take that look. And not everybody's going to be. Now, I hope that someday we can get to that point, and maybe then we can have a truly utopian society where we don't lay the blame at somebody else's feet, and we take responsibility for our actions, shortcomings, and failures.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being a failure. If you failed at something, that means you tried.
Yeah. That's another thing, too, that's kind of plagues a lot of people is like, well, I might fail, so I'm not even going to try.
Hey, look, this podcast has been great for my mental health. It's been a great outlet for my creativity. That's why I spend so much time working on it. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for being a part of it, because this is something that I look forward to, these recording sessions, having these conversations. And, even just the outside concept that we could do this maybe in the future for a living. Like, I want to manifest that reality.
Yeah.
But I'm realistic. It's like, if nothing were to ever happen with it.
And you have space for it. You're fine with it.
But you know what? I'm still getting a lot out of it.
Yeah.
That doesn't, like, if we never made this full-time money-making machine, like, we're printing money out of the back room, like, yeah, bitches.
Yeah, why?
I'm okay with that, because I still feel like I'm getting enough out of it.
It's the same thing, like, when you choose a career or something, if you do it and if you do it for money, it's gonna show.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, like, my job that I have right now, and especially, I mean, this is a lot of people, but I mean, I literally, if you want to know if you're in it for money, take money out of it and see if you'd even be interested in doing it. I mean, and it doesn't have to be like some fancy career, but just a job. It could be a simple job. It could be anything. But I mean, you have the people that are working in these crazy fields for money that would rather be a gardener.
Yeah.
And just don't know it. But they're working for money.
Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't work for money. Money is a byproduct.
Money is an illusion.
Because money is a symbol for wealth. It's not really wealth.
It's a status symbol.
It's not really wealth. It's just a symbol for it. It's not really wealth.
What do you categorize wealth as? What is wealth? Can you define it? Or is it one of those things that's not tangible? That has a different definition for each individual.
Maybe it's the quality of your life.
Okay. Quality of your life, quality of your relationships.
Relationships to everything.
Okay.
Not just with, I mean, it could be with people in your life or with yourself. I mean, just.
I don't need any further description if you don't want. I thought I liked that you described it that way.
Yeah.
And I wanted more insight.
I got that from Alan Watts.
Alan Watts is the man, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah.
Like he has such a great point, though. We confuse the symbols for reality.
So Alan Watts and Mattias Desmet.
Yeah, check them out.
Yeah, these again, Alan Watts, old school. I say old school.
He's still relevant.
He's a 20th century,
timeless,
20th century philosopher, though.
Timeless,
but he was 20th century.
Yeah,
metaphysics.
Yeah,
meta. And then Mattias Desmet, who is a psychologist, sociologist.
I do find it interesting why it's always the old people who, like, when I say old, I mean ancient. They always seem to be like you take Socrates, okay? He's like obviously more important than Alan Watts. How so?
Well, it depends on.
It depends on a lot of things, but I'm just saying, like, why is one to credit
even
more?
I think if you would go back and ask either one of those people, if you had the opportunity, they would say, "Well, I'm not any better than."
Yeah, we don't know. So yeah,
it's like we are one and the same. We are all of one.
Yeah,
I am my knee, therefore I am Socrates.
Yep.
Like what? And you can't, again, I was listening to Alan Watts' video, it was on YouTube yesterday, and it was funny how he was describing how people would go to yogis or, the Buddhist temples, talking to the priests, and they would come in and they would ask these great shamans, priests, about these yogis, about, how do I achieve oneness? And if the yogis would respond,
I think I know what you're about to say.
The yogis would respond with, "Go away, you can't be here."
Yeah,
because if you ask that, then you'll never know.
Yeah,
if you have to ask that, then you don't know.
Yeah,
and if you don't have to ask, you don't have to be here.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, huh? And then he went on the tangent of, we all in the search for meaning in our life, we are always looking for somebody to show us or tell us. We're always looking to the outside.
Yep.
Rather than looking inside.
It's a lot harder to look inside.
It's scary in there.
Can be.
Dude, you don't want to be in my mind, dude. Yeah. Nope. Ain't no meta in there. I put this out there in the world. I'll get lynched. I will get murdered.
Well, damn, don't say that.
Dude, I've got some dark thoughts.
Dude.
I've got some dark thoughts.
Those thoughts, they're just thoughts.
I will not manifest them in
You ever
reality.
seen a thought?
Yeah. Have you seen the Brain Snacks podcast?
Yeah.
We manifest this. We made that concept a reality.
Yep.
And we have been now, we haven't discussed it on camera, but it's been a year since we actually had our first meeting.
Yep.
First production meeting was right around now.
We're all still here, soldiers. Still fighting in the war.
So yeah.
Dustin's hair's messed up now, though.
It's always, it is
designed bed hair look.
It is designed to look that way.
It makes him definitely look like he's like...
Dude, have you seen the description I have of him on the website?
Smart guy? With messed up hair?
Best hair.
Big glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that.
That's because nobody works on the website with me.
I'll check that out right now.
We better cut this. We don't want to see him cry.
Oh, I happily do it.
We don't want to see
I happily do it.
We're going to let the man cry.
Yeah, I do. Real men also cry.
Yeah. Cry, man.
So,
cry over the right...
I think I'm done with the mass formation talk. If you have any other thoughts,
I don't think so.
We shut down this recording session for the day. I wish we could do another one, but again, I know it's getting late over here at the War House, and you've got a little drive home.
And I gotta go to Auburn and stay the night tomorrow.
Well, the good news for me, I'm off until Thursday afternoon. Then I drive to Texas. Again, because it's always Texas. Yeah. But we're playing Baton Rouge on Saturday, so go Tigers. Go Tigers, go Tigers. Go Tigers, I'm leaving today. Because he's leaving. Poor Coach O.
Okay.
Oh. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And again, we reiterate this one more time. We're not trying. If anything I said offended you, just before you want to cancel, why don't you reach out? You want to come on the podcast? We'll have a conversation about why you think what I said was offensive. I'm okay with that. You will have a public platform. And as long as you can do it in a non-emotional, rational, and respectful way, I promise to do the same. He's the one that's going to be mean.
This man doesn't keep any promises.
I promised.
I'm not promising.
Get it?
Yeah. All right.
But no, we love you all.
Thanks for watching this program.
It's go back to watching your stories.
Yeah. I love how we call it, like when they're like, you watching this program. I immediately my brain's like, program? What do you mean? Programming, oh my God. Back to regularly scheduled programming.
Back to your regularly scheduled advertising revenue induced trivial bullshit. Good night, everybody. Suck it.
Did you subscribe?